everyone. It's indeed a moment of pride for me to stand here and speak to you all. I read somewhere that we need someone who makes us feel special. So let's be someone for someone and make people special. Today, as she said, a confident, smiling, happy, and very enthusiastic individual is standing in front of you. However, this was not the case in my growing up years. Till my middle school, I was not the most favorite child in the class for the teachers. I was not in the group of girls and boys who would make friends with each other. The reason being I shifted many schools due to my father's transfer. Somewhere around middle school, when we were in one place and in a particular school, the teachers kind of did not pay much attention to me, though I had joined mid-session. They were very happy that I got laurels to the school in games, especially basketball, that they would appreciate. But they also wanted a very mediocre 60%er me to excel. Now, 60% way back in 70s and 80s was an accepted percentage. However, they wanted me to be right on top of the list, which was not possible. And because of that, I faced this discrimination, and I used to be very disappointed. In a way, I was an outstanding child, always standing outside the class or found on the basketball field. I was very happy doing that because I loved sports and games. But at home, I was a little mild kind of a child, which was not my basic nature. My father sensed it, and he, a true army man, he called me and he asked me what was troubling me. I just told him that I feel very neglected, secluded in the class, and I don't have many friends, and the teachers also expect a lot from me. And that's why I don't feel like going to this particular school. He then narrated to me a very motivating piece of his life, which enthused a lot of inspiration into me. And that was my first encounter with something inspirational. It came from my family, from my paternal grandma, my dadima. My father told me that at the age of 26, she was widowed because my grandfather had died in the war, and she had two sons, 7 and 5, to be educated. However, after his death, there was so much pressure from the family, the males of the family, that she should stop the education of my father and uncle and let them join the routine village activities and get into farming. But she held strong against everybody. This is in 1920s. She was a real pillar of strength, motivation for all of us. And with grace, she gave education to her sons, who became the first officers, class 1 officers, in near about 20 villages across. Now, this motivated me a lot. And later in my life, whenever I saw and met children, students, who were passing through similar situations like mine, not accepted, not liked by the teachers, I motivated them, counseled them, spoke to them, and brought them out of their dark corners. This is a diary that I keep on my bedside, and it says, "Your only limit is you." I'll tell you how I so believe in this. My joining the field of education is accidental, and I would say literally accidental. My daughter's class teacher fell down from Luna. Back in 80s, there used to be a Luna. She fell down from the Luna and hurt herself so bad that she had to be on bed rest for about 2 or 3 months. One fine morning, my daughter, when she got back from school, she showed me her diary. No phone calls were available those days, besides the landline. And in the diary, it was written, "Mr. Sharma, please come and meet me tomorrow." I looked at her. I said, "What have you done?" She said, "I have not done anything, but principal told that you call your mother." Next day, I went and met the principal. She said that such and such class teacher has met with an accident, and we want you to substitute for her. I looked at her, And with humility and politeness, I just told her that, sister, I won't be able to do this because neither do I have the qualification nor the experience to handle a class. So kindly forgive me for not accepting this. I will not be able to take it up. And she very firmly and confidently looked at me and said, Mrs. Sharma, I know you can do it. Anyway, I didn't want to argue with the principal of my child, so I just came out of the office. And the moment I came out, I was wondering, what is going to happen? My nightmares began there and then itself. I said, now what? How will I manage? What will I do? Or will it be just one day in, sign the register, another day they'll tell me, go away, we don't want you, you are not a good teacher. Well, the next day, I joined as a teacher, went to the class. Those 40 little children, they made my day chaotic, or I should say, I made my day very chaotic. I didn't know how to handle them. I was going on the left row, the right was talking. I was going to the right row, the left was talking. No clue how to handle them. Very upset at the end of the day. I felt, what am I doing? But didn't have the heart to go and tell that I wasn't doing well. Knowing fully well that the principal was watching, and there were people who were watching what I was doing in the class. Another week went like this. I was trying to settle myself, but somewhere it was not happening. And then I decided, because this was a very old school, almost 100 years old, and we had teachers who had more than 25 years of experience, 30 years of experience. I decided, in my free period, I'm going to go and sit behind in these classes which were held and taken up by the senior teachers, and I'm going to observe how do they manage, how do they handle, how do they take their children together with them. 10 days of learning from them, and I did voice my kind of feelings. I told them that I really want to learn from you because I don't know anything, and this is a big period of 3 months that I have to teach the children. They were very kind. I learned from them. End of that month, we had to put up our attendance register to the principal for her signatures, and I was called. I knew there must be some problem. I entered her office, and she said, how have you marked these children? Look at the P. It is touching the bottom of the line and the top of the line. And I felt in my mind, yes, it was looking like a parking sign, such a big P present. And she taught me how to mark attendance. All right. This little learning helped me later, which I'll come to. My 3 months of stint ended with the school. And on the last day, there was a staff meeting in which the principal said, Mrs. Sharma, we don't mind having people on board who do not know anything, provided they are ready to learn and they have a good attitude and you possess that. Believe me, it was like winning a trophy. It was like winning a trophy. Totally not qualified for the job, and then getting this kind of appreciation, I was so happy. But then there is another part to it. I became their official substitute teacher for as long as my husband was posted in that city. So any teacher, any class, it was Mrs. Sharma, come and take it. Now, after this, I felt that teaching is my calling, though this was not my first choice at all. Believe me, I wanted to be a police officer. I really wanted to be on a Java. I really wanted to be on the streets and, be the powerful woman. And because of that, there were certain subjects I had taken in my college, and my father was so enthusiastic that I would be joining the police. But another man in army uniform came on the bike, swept me away. So the dream of sitting on the bike remained, however, as a wife. I thought to myself, now there is no other option. I'll be moving every year, 2 years. Let me get into teaching. I had started liking it. And then I went on to do my B.Ed, MA, Diploma in School Management. 12 years of teaching in different schools across the country. Later, we came to Pune in 2001. 2002, I got an opportunity to lead a school as the principal, a school 10+2, from a scratch. And by the time I left in 2012, it had 4,000 children. a very well-established school doing very well. Just when I thought that, okay, from a no teacher to the head teacher and the principal of a school such big, this is the ultimate I could have achieved in my life. I got an opportunity to be the additional director of 3 CBSE 10+2 schools here in Pune itself. So it was a huge achievement, and I worked till I was 61 and I had to leave, or say retire. Now, while I was teaching and also learning, I came across a number of incidents. There was a little boy while I was substituting for the first time, and we had the PTM. Now, this was the first PTM I was conducting as a teacher. I had always been as a parent. So we were told a particular dress code and everything, and it was summer months. I was in a crisp cotton sari. I went and sat down at the table, and this little boy walked up to me, his elbows on my table, looking at me, and he asked me point blank, "Aaj aap naha ke aaye ho?" I just thought to myself, why is he saying like this? And then I realized what he meant was every day was one teacher who was rushing into the class, learning how to handle the class, and today was the teacher, prim and proper with crisp sari, sitting there, and he was so happy to see me like that. Lesson learned, when you go into the class, look your best. Children are observing. It makes a lot of difference. A chaotic teacher will come out with chaotic result. A well-groomed teacher will always have good children in the class, and they look up to you because when you walk in, they notice, what's the teacher wearing, what is she doing? Later, when I became the principal, God made me nice, fat, and powerful from far. So I used to go on my rounds, and one day I entered a class where concepts were being taught, fat and thin. Incidentally, the thin teacher, their teacher was absolutely thin, and here was the principal. So we made a figure of 10 together. And I asked the class, now you know the concept, thin and fat. Why I'm saying this is we have to love ourselves, our personality, whatever that we are. I feel we all are different, and in that difference, we are beautiful, and we have our own strengths. Let's not, sabotage our strengths because what the other people are feeling. Let them feel, they'll always feel. But if you're confident, you are good, and you are true, you keep walking, and you achieve your goals. I have read somewhere that सोचने से कहाँ मिलते हैं, हमें अपने शहर, चलने की जिद भी ज़रूरी है मंजिलों के लिए. So keep driving yourself, keep working hard, keep aspiring, because you need to have drive, aspire to inspire. If you don't have the drive and determination, nothing will happen. You won't be able to do anything. Besides the number of ailments one is suffering with, the moment or whatever problems, when I used to have teacher meetings, this is one thing I would always tell the teachers. No matter whatever baggage you come from home with you, hang it at the gate of the school. Take it back when you're going back in the evening. Be fresh in the class, because you cannot be going to the class with that kind of baggage. You have to just leave it, pick it up in the end, and then your journey back home starts. As you start driving, you are thinking of buying vegetables, fruits, and whatever. That can begin from that end. There is a little story I read about Japanese people, which really inspired me a lot. It goes that the Japanese are very fond of eating fish. However, the waters close to Japan didn't have much fish. So the fishing companies took their fishermen boats to farther ends so that they could get fish from there and give to the Japanese people back home. So when they would sail deep into the sea, coming back would take a lot of time. And when they got back, the fish wasn't as fresh, and Japanese people didn't like it. So the companies thought of installing freezers into their boats. Fish was caught, put into the freezer, and brought back and sold. Again, it was not liked because frozen fish had not that taste what the fresh fish has. Again, the companies thought of another idea, and they put the tanks, water tanks, into the shipping boats, took the fish, put it into the tank, and brought it back. But again, they said there were too many fish crowded up in that tank, and there wasn't good taste in it. The fourth remedy. The fishing companies kept the tank as it is, put the fish into the tank, whole lot of them, and also a small little shark into the tank. Now, when the shark went into the tank, all the other fish started moving. There was a lot of movement. The shark ate one or two, but there was movement among the fish. So when it got back to the shore, it was as good as fresh and live, and it sold beautifully. Now, we all need to have a shark in our tank. Because if we have a shark in our tank, we are pushed towards doing something which we thought we were not capable of. So if you have to survive, you have to be alive, you have to be a learner, you have to be a creator, you have to be happy, you have to have a shark in your tank. And if you find somebody looking young, beautiful, happy, healthy, enthusiastic, that person surely has a shark in the tank. For all the inspiration that I have had in my life from people, colleagues, family, friends, my juniors, it's been immense. Today, standing before you here has been wonderful, signing off with lots of love, blessings, and inspiration to each one of you. Thank you.